What is up, everybody? Random Random Man here, bringing you a different yet special kind of movie review. Why? Not only is this the first time am I reviewing something that I saw streaming on Netflix, but this is the first documentary film I have ever reviewed. In the past, I have exclusively reviewed new movies that I saw in theaters and gave out my thoughts to you on my channel. But this movie I had to give a very special exception to, as I am bringing you my review for 13th. Now, the subject matter of this documentary follows a bunch of scholars, analysts, and other people who go over the rise of the prison boom in the US, which is in correlation to the criminalization of African Americans for many, many years up until now. Now, when I approach a documentary, what I essentially want to get out of one of these films is to learn or be enlightened more so about the topic that I am viewing, as documentaries are non-fiction. Going into this particular documentary, though, there was a lot of critical acclaim around it. Reviewers absolutely adored this movie. This was even the first documentary to ever open at the New York Film Festival, and on the same day it was released in select theaters, it started streaming on Netflix. Right off the bat, I can say that this documentary presents itself in a pristine light. Documentaries could easily get boring if it's just a bunch of talking heads and monotone voices just speaking on a certain topic, but not this documentary though. Everyone who speaks in this movie really seemed credible and knew what they were talking about and contributing to getting a bunch of information across in this film, but it also goes with the direction. The director of this film is Ava DuVernay, who previously directed the Martin Luther King biopic Selma, which I ended up really liking, but I think she did a much more passionate job in showing a true topic like this in a non-fictional setting with a bunch of other people getting the information across to us, along with how everything else is woven together. I really don't want to give away what is said in this movie, even though it's all true from what I've seen this documentary present, but a lot of facts truly shocked me and had me disgusted throughout. One of them standing out, which was even said when Common and John Legend accepted their Oscars for Best Original Song for Selma. More African Americans are imprisoned today than there were slaves back in the 1850s. Facts like that and a lot more things that were said in this movie had me really riled up. The way we got more facts in this movie too, and the way the movie kept transitioning had me invested throughout. Running at about an hour and 40 minutes, I never got bored. I always wanted to get more informed on this really provocative subject matter. The way the movie transitions in between itself and showing those people talking to some archival footage that was really stunning and impactful, to even the graphical transitions and how slick this movie looked. The cinematography I thought was really, really nice. What ultimately got me to thinking that this movie is something special and why I'm reviewing it right now is how it is truly relevant more than ever. This movie is named after the 13th Amendment, which freed all of the slaves after the American Civil War. But as this documentary truly rides home, there was a loophole to that law that goes on for the rest of history, decades and decades later. Again, this movie had me really riled up, shocked, disgusted, upset. I eventually got to the point where I even broke down in tears. I'm not going to say when, but I had to do with a montage sequence that truly rained home to me because of a lot of what we see in social media and the news today, with a lot of racial tensions really reigning high. It made me really reflect on what has been happening recently with not just African Americans, but a lot of other people too. It also even went to current matters in that this movie is pretty recent in a lot of what it presents itself to, right down to the point where a lot of shade is thrown at many, many people, including both nominees for the presidency this upcoming election. That's how truly truly ballsy and gutsy this movie is to want to show itself. Yeah, documentaries can be considered really biased in many ways, but I think the way this movie presents itself, it left no stone unturned. Overall, this documentary is simply phenomenal. I really was taken aback by what a lot of things were said with this documentary, and given how this is spotlighting non-fictional events and a non-fictional topic, it truly had me thinking a lot throughout after I have even finished this movie. I have not been this emotionally attached by a movie, whether or not it told non-fictional or fictional events, since I saw Room last year. This ended up being one of my absolute favorite movies of 2015, and I will say this right now, 13th is one of my absolute favorite movies of 2016 thus far. I truly commend everybody involved in making this documentary. Ava DuVernay, you have directed an amazing work of journalism. You should win the Oscar for Best Documentary Feature come February. Regardless of where you come from or what background you have, you should see this documentary. This should be a required viewing for everybody. I do not have that big of a fan base, but to anyone watching this review, if you have Netflix and if you've not seen this documentary by now, you should see it right now. If you don't have Netflix, find a friend, family member, however you can, watch this documentary. I adore it. Once again, it is one of my absolute favorite movies of 2016 thus far. It is an ideal documentarian masterpiece. I cannot recommend it more highly enough. My final verdict for 13th is 5 out of 5 stars. Thank you all, as always, for watching. Be sure to like this video, comment on what you thought of 13th, subscribe to my channel for more, and I'll catch you on the next movie review.